Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, here we are. And you mentioned, let's just dive in. Do you know that just in the Netherlands only, let's speak the Netherlands, we have about 4.2 million people on sick leave in the whole general thing. And that's a 5.4 an average percentage in companies in the Netherlands, costing the country overall 29 billion euros per year. And these percentages are from 2025. So we spoke before, having our CEOs with, troubled minds and heavy hearts around people on sick leave. And we're talking about people with illnesses, whether it's work-related, home-related, situational-related. And we're not talking yet about people who are not fully present, so are a bit absent mentally, because they are no longer a fit in their job, so they do silent quitting. That's not even in those numbers. So we said to each other, this is a huge thing to tackle, but where to start? Because if we look what in general organizations do, well, you with your HR background, what do organizations do when they're faced, well, gosh, this is a 5.4 in average percentage?
Well, the first, and adding the cost to that, because we can make the calculations, of course. The first thing many companies do is to set a new KPI, and that we want to turn it from 5.4 to, let's say, 3.1. Just whatever the numbers are. So we are looking at from a numbers perspective and a cost perspective. And that leads to a new well-being program. It leads to more attention to the people who are on sick leave, all kinds of variables that we have in our standards.
I know another thing.
Which one?
Just figure out with a professional, labor professional, what we call in Dutch the arbeidsdeskundige, or the doctor specialized in sick leave, to force on the people how to get them back as soon as possible, counting the hours that you're capable to work, and it's only focus on work, not the signal of why you dropped out anyhow. So, just having the professional giving pressure.
Well, so every intervention, even if it's training the managers, I did it myself too, training the managers, also especially in international environments, to make clear how to act when someone is reporting ill, because that is also very different, also in legislation, of course, in the various countries. And that is also about how are you showing up in that point of time. That is another kind of way to address it, but it still comes from a doing perspective, and it's not coming from take a deeper dive into what kind of system is even creating the opportunity for that sick level to arise. And I think that is a totally different question, to see the design behind and the architecture behind why people are ill or not showing up at work.
Yes, for sure. And what kind of conversation do you do? And if we look at the quantum leadership, for example, they really take the angle of creating a safe environment to have safe conversations where you feel that your working environment cares as much as you care about your job. And it isn't the care about the rules and regulations, but care about you coming back as a person. So you bring your human perspective back rather than following the organizational design or architecture. So if you look at a different kind of architecture, a soul-led architecture in your organization, it's a natural result to have different conversations. What's not only where you face the absenteeism, but also where you can have way before that prevention conversations, because you are aligned on soul's missions. And that is a total different angle. But how do you do that? Can you give an example? How to see the difference and how to shift?
Yeah, well, it starts with asking the different questions, really, and to really have another kind of resolution about what is really going on. So it is about first getting clear, like, where do people have responsibility without authority, for instance? It's a totally different question. You could say at first glance, like, what's got that to do with the number of sick leave? But of course, when people have no authority and people want authority intrinsically, then there is a gap, and that gap is slowly widening and widening until the time that someone is really thinking like, this is not I'm not feeling well anymore. You can also see that in organizations where there's constant transformation, constant perceived threat, also with AI coming up now, some organizations really dealing with that in totally different ways. Some use it as a way to get rid of many people, others will invest in people in different ways. But that is kind of leading to permanent uncertainty with people. And uncertainty is also leading to to illness, of course. So this is some of the questions that we have to see, okay, where can we dive deeper into the environments in which people operate, and how is that affecting how they feel? And if you have these kinds of questions really from a point of sincere and also coming from a place of integrity, really that you feel that your people are the ones making your vision coming to life, and that you have a responsibility for those people, then it is also felt by the people that you are coming from a different place and asking the questions for a set of reasons that are doing good to the people and the company as a whole. And I think that is a different starting point than just looking at the KPIs and seeing, okay, well, what can we do next? How can we increase the perceived wellness or well-being of people? And let's have a well-being week. It's really cool. I mean, all those initiatives are not bad, or there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not giving a solution for a permanent time frame. It's just another week, and then we all go back to normal, and things not really changing, especially not in the architecture and in the design, which is always signaling up front where people will be, what are chances of people not being at work increase.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting. We just had a conversation with an organization, and the CEO shared that when insecurity comes up and uncertainty is there, no matter if it's about sick leave, but just in the organizational structure, this uncertainty can give a response for more rules, being more tight, because having the responsibility to look for yourself what's wise or not can increase the uncertainty for certain people as well. Mm-hmm. So having this thin line of having your own authority to make your own decisions, for example, when you are in an uncertain environment, that might increase the uncertainty. So it's a thin line to see where the discomfort or dis-ease can lead to a disease. So just to be aware that's way deeper than, as you said, a KPI, or just giving an instrument for the well-being. It's deeper than that. And how to sense that and how to align requires communication skills, but not in the way we are brought up to. It's a listening to the signals as well. And it's even body signals. It's very deep and broad, but it's fascinating to see the results if you know to fine tune on it. Because if you look at the costs, not only money cost, but also well-being cost and output cost, it's huge to just take another turn and invest in that deeper knowing, deeper understanding, so you can prevent before the ship is really sinking already and you're drowning in the misery of not being able to course correct what's so needed. So it's broader than that. But how many companies, organizations dare to let go, or at least to broaden their view and see what's really needed? That requires daring leadership, as I would call it.
Definitely, and it also requires a deeper look into what is really happening. It's like if I were a CFO of a larger company, I would really take a closer look at what decision what is the return on investment in decisions when it comes to sick leave, and the prevention of that. And it's from my experience, many times it's like it's really hard to give the details and the return in figures, because we really don't know, and that is because we are just looking at the surface and believing that that is what we need to solve, that is the cause we need to solve, but the effect and cause is different. So when an organization, and which of course is one of the things that we do at the elephant, the Indigo elephant, is to take a deeper look into the organization and asking the questions that are not asked many times, and not just the question, but also the sensed and perceived energies, signals that are there, that can really derive a better decision making for C-level and also in HR, of course, to say, but this is, if we really are taking this aspect and change something in there, it will result in lower people not being at work, because it is the logic which then speaks instead of the sensed and the perception of, I think this is going to work. It's different.
Yeah, and I think it's also very useful just to have a fact check. What did we do already, in what area, and why? If you don't know the real answer, or it is only just having better KPI results, what are you really doing? So the question you didn't ask is the deeper question, is why do we take decisions like this? For what reason? And what do we want to get out of it beyond the KPIs? So I think that's important to understand. And what we do with the Indigo Elephant is having those deeper conversations. It's not a therapy, it's not just another consultancy, it's just having a conversation about the areas you never asked yourself before on an organizational level. And to us, that's gold, because then we're able to shift things what weren't shifted before and have real outcomes for the alignment with the deeper soul's mission of organizations. And it's cool to be in that area and to just be able to facilitate. It's not for us, we like it, but it's so good to see the organization flourish from that.
Yeah, and it's like going to the doctor. I mean, you're not entering a doctor's office and he will just say, I see already what it is. You lay down and I will perform the surgery and you will be fine. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not really sure if that's a good idea. So you want it from a different perspective, right? So like an MRI, it's like diving deeper into the facts to see what is really needed to solve here. And I think that is one of the unique ways that we're able to digest all the different aspects on the different layers as well, both seen and unseen. That is making a difference, and then it's really the outcome must be that the figures will turn into the figures that you like, so that of course you can calculate with these figures. I mean, that's important, but it's coming from a different perspective, that soul-led perspective, that is leading to the human side of business naturally, and also leading to the also much needed financial side. It's then kind of incoherent, you could say, right?
Yeah, the coherence is there from the human and the financial perspective, but the drive behind it, it's really from a deep level, and getting the outcomes what's meant to be. So if you dare, just have a look at the website, and we are excited to see the shifts happening already. So next week we will be back. You will see what the topic will be, and if you don't know a topic, say, oh, please talk about that, let us know and we will dive into it.
Great.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.